Loneliness is more than a feeling. In fact, public health experts now call it a crisis. One as damaging to our health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. But here's the surprising part. New research suggests it's not just about our relationships. Our built environments, the way that our cities and our neighborhoods are designed, might actually be making us lonelier. And the solution? Well, it could be as simple as planting more trees. Let's start with the big picture. In 2025, loneliness is at record highs worldwide. More people live alone. More people report feeling isolated, disconnected, and unseen. And this matters because loneliness doesn't just hurt emotionally, it actually increases our risk of heart disease, depression, dementia, and even early death. So what's driving it all? Well, some of it is cultural, some of it is digital, but researchers are now pointing to something completely different. The very places we live in. There's a new term that's being used, lonelygenic environments. That's when urban design, think high-rise apartments, endless pavement, and few public spaces, actually produce loneliness. Why? Well, because without shared natural spaces, we lose the chance encounters and social glue that make communities feel alive. When a city prioritizes cars over people, concrete over trees, and shopping malls over parks, it literally builds disconnection into our daily lives. And here's where nature comes in. Research shows that access to green space doesn't just lower stress or boost our physical health, it also reduces our feelings of loneliness. When people spend time in parks or tree-lined streets, they're more likely to interact with their neighbors, they're more likely to join group activities, and they're more likely to feel this stronger sense of belonging. One study even found that neighborhoods with more street trees had residents who reported lower levels of social isolation. In other words, trees don't just clean our air, they help clean the loneliness out of our lives. So let's look at this in action. In Singapore, city planners have woven greenery into almost every corner of the city, from rooftop gardens to vertical forests on skyscrapers. And the result? People reported feeling more socially connected despite living in one of the world's densest populated cities. In London, community garden projects are being used as social prescriptions. Doctors literally recommend gardening as a way to combat loneliness and depression and social isolation. And here's a smaller example. In neighborhoods where trees were cut down due to disease, researchers noticed residents reporting feelings of being less safe, less trusting, and more isolated. All signs of raising loneliness. The pattern here is clear. When nature disappears, connection disappears with it. This is why more experts are calling nature social medicine. Think about it. A single park bench under a tree might lead two strangers to starting a conversation. A shaded walking path might encourage neighbors to walk together. A community garden might bring people of all ages and backgrounds into the same shared space. These are small design choices, but they all add up to powerful public health outcomes. More trees can mean fewer prescriptions, less strain on our healthcare systems, and healthier, happier people. So what does this mean for us in 2025 and beyond? Well, it means city planners, architects, public health officials all need to think differently about nature. Parks and trees aren't just decoration, they're infrastructure for human connection. And for all of us as individuals, well, it means noticing the role green spaces play in our own lives. Where do we find connection? Where do we feel most at ease? Well, chances are they're in places where nature is close at hand. Loneliness might be one of the biggest health challenges of our time, but the answer isn't only inside therapy rooms or on social media feeds. Sometimes it's outside, in the simple act of planting a tree, creating a park, or sitting together under the shade of a beautiful tree canopy. Because when we invest in nature, we're not just healing the planet, we're healing ourselves and each other. So here's my question for you. Do you think planting trees could really help tackle loneliness in your community? Or is loneliness too complex for something so simple to fix? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear your perspective.